Hey, friends, thank you for tuning into this episode of Eat, Play, Live with me, Andy P. This is the show that's chasing dreams and crushing goals. My goal here is to help you live a healthier, happier, more balanced life. You know, all three of those ingredients can go together and help us to just boost our self-confidence. You know, sometimes I think we have a negative view of what self-confidence, what does that word actually mean? It gets such a negative connotation, right? But here's what it really is. It's just a feeling of trust, our own abilities, our own qualities, our own judgment, just being able to trust what's inside of that, inside of our heart, our gut, right? And that's not to be confused with conceit or narcissism or an egocentric type of attitude, okay? If you know people who exhibit these traits, and unfortunately, I think most of us do, take a closer look at their behavior, because I think you'll find that those traits actually are based in fear and feelings of inadequacy. And that is absolutely not what we're talking about here. That's the opposite of what we're working toward. Our dreams require us to believe that we are, in fact, worthy. We're exactly who we're supposed to be, and we're exactly where we're supposed to be in this moment. So if you struggle with confidence or with feeling worthy, think about this. Just be the person your dog thinks you are. That can't be so hard. And if you're a cat person, I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what cats think. I don't think anybody does. So for the purpose of this show, let's talk about dogs, okay? And as we transition into our Eat segment, this is Eat, Play, Live. So we always start out by talking about a little bit about food. Well, tonight we're going to talk about your dog, because dogs need to eat healthy too, okay? And I give advice week after week about healthy eating, but we don't want to forget about our precious sidekick, our partner in crime. Mine is asleep on the other chair, so maybe she'll move back over here in a little bit. But so let's start out. You know, I normally say do not feed your dog people food, but there are actually people foods that are okay to feed your dog, but you got to know which are and which are not. So let's start out with something like an apple. Well, an apple a day will not necessarily keep the veterinarian away, and a whole apple is actually too much, unless maybe you have a really, really large dog. But no, they do make good treats, and dogs generally love them. They're full of nutrients and fiber, and they're great snacks, but don't give your dog the seeds or the core. You do need to cut it up for them. Green peas. This is an unexpected, healthy little snack. And if you start, especially if you start when your dog is really small, just give them a couple of peas as a reward for good behavior. They actually really dig that. So easy peasy, right? All right, that was cheesy. Oh my God, I just keep going. Anyway, carrots. Let's move on to carrots. Carrots, as we know, are loaded with beta carotene, other vitamins. They're almost guaranteed to be in your kitchen already, right? Everybody's got some carrots around. Why not cut some up into little bite-sized pieces as another healthy reward? Now, some dogs, as I'm sure you know, can be bad about swallowing without chewing. So know what is bite-sized for your dog and cut them into bite-sized pieces. Labs and beagles especially. I got to call you out, lab and beagle people, because those are very known to just gobble things whole and not even try to chew them. Green beans. Yes, dogs can eat green beans too. Do not season the green beans. In fact, any items that I talk about, if you're cooking them for your dog, do not add seasoning. They don't need the extra spice, okay? Plain green beans are a great source of vitamins and fiber. Next up, and great for the summertime, watermelon. Just like humans, most dogs love watermelon. Tasty, hydrating, beneficial snack. Do not feed your dog any seeds or the rind. just the good stuff. Cooked sweet potatoes. I actually did this one last night. Cooked sweet potatoes keep really well in the refrigerator, so it's easy to have them on hand as a healthy snack for your dog. I'm serious, give it a try. They're best plain. And what I do is I don't love to eat the skin of the sweet potato. So when I eat my sweet potato, I try to eat a little bit of skin because I know there's vitamins in that, but I save a lot of the skin, and my dog knows it's going to go in her bowl when I'm finished. So do not give your dogs raw potatoes of any kind. That is not good for our furry friends. Bananas. We all know that bananas are loaded with healthy nutrients, and most dogs love them as well. They are a great natural choice, but bananas are pretty high in natural sugars, so let's not go overboard. We don't need them every day, and neither does your dog. Broccoli. Cruciferous veggies, like broccoli, have well-known health benefits. I talk about broccoli in many of the lists of things, of options I give you for heart healthy eating, low carb eating, you name it, broccoli generally makes the list, and it's good for your pup as well. Feel free to give them a few small pieces as a treat. That can be raw, roasted, steamed, unseasoned though. And like humans, dogs often have an easier time digesting if it is cooked. So I do encourage you to go ahead and cook them up. As well as squash. Cooked squash are great natural treats or cheats for dogs. Since there are several kinds of squash that are safe for dogs, it's a good option all year round. You have butternut squash, yellow squash, zucchini, even pumpkin. Just be sure with any of these, if they have seeds, remove them. The butternut squash, remove the rind. I would say for pumpkin, they're not going to want to eat that rind either. So just that would be a good thing to do. Scoop it out when we're not quite to that season yet, but maybe I'll try to remember to remind you to, when you make your jack-o'-lanterns come October, to scoop out the insides and give your dog a treat of some pumpkin while you're at it. All right, strawberries, sweet little vitamin C nuggets. We all love them. Dogs love them, but like bananas, they're also high in sugar. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about how much to give your pooch. Blueberries, great, healthy, easy little treats for you and your dog. And something to keep in mind, when you are trying out new treats with your dog, kind of like with a baby, start with small portions and see how they do with it. Don't introduce a bunch of new things at once, or you may learn the hard way how their GI tract is going to respond to that. So little at a time and see what they enjoy, and maybe you'll find a nice natural new treat for your pup. Also, side note, don't feed them from the table. Don't feed them from your plate. Put their treat, either give it to them somewhere else or put it in their bowl, but do not train them to think that people food is for them, because you know what happens. They're just going to beg from you. They just are. And as far as people go, now rewarding your dog with food, A-okay. Rewarding yourself with food, not so much. Yeah. We're not dogs. We don't need to reward ourselves with food. So on that note, now that we've fed the dog, let's take our furry friend outside to play. Yay. You know how much I love to play outside, and dogs are a great encouragement to do that and to just get up and move, because our bodies were not designed to be sedentary. They just weren't. We're designed to walk and squat and bend and all those things, but not to sit all day long. And so many of us do that. And I get it. We have to. We're working. But there are things we can do, and there are reasons that we should. So let's take a look at why it's not a great idea to be an object at rest, right? An object at rest stays at rest. So let us be the force that spurs us into more motion. All right. Sitting all the time can actually shorten your life. Many of the causes of life shortenings I don't know how I wanted to say that, but many causes are exacerbated by sitting way too much. It hurts your heart. People who sit for a living, think of transit drivers, twice as likely to get heart disease as those who are not sitting all the time. Dementia is more likely. It just does something to your brain over time. It also raises your risk of heart disease, diabetes, stroke, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. All of these play a role in this condition. And all the exercise that you're doing, you can actually undo it by sitting way too much. This one hurt my heart a little bit because even if you work out 7 hours a week, which is a lot, that is a lot and more than recommended. If you're sitting seven hours, it outweighs the good work. So I know yesterday, I'm sure I sat at the office for, I'm thinking it was closer to 8 hours. That undid my workout. Are you kidding me? That is not okay. All right. Your odds of diabetes rise. Sitting may actually change the way your body reacts to insulin. Isn't that weird? But it's true. You could get what's called DVT, deep vein thrombosis. It is a clot that forms in your leg. You need to break up long sessions of sitting. Maybe, I wear a Fitbit that tells me 10 minutes till the hour every single hour if I've gotten enough steps in for that hour based on my goal per day. And yes, it's annoying, but a lot of times I'm like, oh, yeah, I need to get up. I've been sitting way too long. So your Fitbit, your Apple Watch, whatever, they have ways. Set a little timer. Do what it takes to remember. Just get up and walk around a little bit. Drink a lot of water. Then at the very least, you got to walk to the bathroom. Okay, I'm here. I'm here to help. Some of the other problems of sitting too much. You know what? You'll gain weight, especially if you're sitting in front of a screen. It's going to happen. It wrecks your back. Sitting for long periods of time is a huge stress on your back muscles, your neck, your spine. Even worse, if you slouch, a good ergonomic chair will help, or check into getting a stand-up desk. Super handy. If you don't move it, you could lose it. Older adults who are not active, weight-bearing activities especially, may be more likely to get osteoporosis. So keep your bones strong and keep moving. Also, your cancer risk goes up. I'm not kidding, folks. Sitting too much, like I said, there are a lot of problems that are caused by sitting too much, and your cancer risk goes up, especially colon cancer, endometrial, or lung cancer, or breast cancer in older women. I don't know why. It just does. So stand and stretch every half hour or so, whatever you can do. Take a walk around the block. Maybe take your pet with you where you go and do it with them. All right, that's enough with the danger of sitting. Now it's time to take a stand, both physically and figuratively, as we move into our live segment. At the top of the show, I was talking about self-confidence, right? The willingness and the desire to do what's inside of you, right? Well, let's talk about what that looks like to take a stand. Having the confidence to stand up for what you believe in. What do you believe so strongly that you're willing to go against the grain? Just to talk about it or to fight for it. Is there anything inside you that you'd be willing to do that? According to Riskology, which if you haven't heard of that, that's a website that is a leadership for introverts site. And they say you have got to get over the fear of criticism and ridicule in order to take a stand. Do you have that fear? And don't tell me that you could never get over that fear, because actually you can. You absolutely can if you're willing to take a step. It takes work, I know, but it is within reach if you're willing to dig deep, look inside, and just increase your level of self-trust, your self-confidence. Do you ever wonder why sometimes you're willing to speak up for what you believe in, and other times you stay silent? You just go with the flow. Is it the people around you maybe that make that difference? Or is it that little voice in the back of your head telling you that you're not worthy? Well, here's the deal with that voice. You may think that's your voice you're hearing, but it's not. It was created from messages that you got throughout your life, maybe as a young child, a teenager, maybe at school, maybe at home. But all those different messages created this voice inside your head. You internalized them and repeated them to yourself until you decided to believe them. You didn't know you were doing any of this. We all do it. It happens. But I've got news for you. Those messages, they were wrong. They were wrong. If they told you that you were not worthy and that what you think doesn't matter, no, that is not true. You are worthy. What you think does matter. And if it doesn't line up with everybody else, with your friends, with your family, with what everybody's saying on Facebook, so what? Who cares if it doesn't line up? If we all believe the exact same thing, how stinking boring would this world be? We need people who are willing to be different, to be rebels, to stand out. We need all of that. We can't all be on the same bandwagon. We wouldn't all fit, right? There may be someone besides my dog out there who, really, Susie, there may be someone out there who hasn't thought about this particular thing that's so important to you. Okay? The thing that's on your heart that you want to make a stand about. Someone out there just may not have ever even thought about it until you say it. Does that make sense? You may be the voice they've been waiting to hear. You didn't know it. They didn't know it. But now that you're doing it, there it is. So speak up. Plant the seed. And give someone a nudge they need. Just whatever you do, don't be afraid to take a stand. I'm Andy P., and I am standing up for you because you matter. That's why I'm really glad that you're here. I'm glad you're part of my tribe. So let's all stand up and step out and live our best damn lives on purpose. Until next week, thank you for tuning in to Eat, Play, Live. Peace.